Hey guys, hi again. Welcome back to another video on Leet Code coding series. So we have already started some problems on array data structures. After that, we will solve different data structures problems like on a stack, on queues. Also, we will solve binary trees and different types of algorithms. Okay, problems on grading algorithms and dynamic programming. And my name is Atul Kumar, and I'm a full stack developer at Cognizant. So here we have already discussed this problem. Okay, so not exactly that problem. The previous problem was a variant of this problem. Okay, so you can understand in this way. Best time to buy and sell stock is a set of problems. It is not a single problem. Okay, so we have different kinds of variants on this problem. So if you already watched the previous video, you understand what was the problem statement. Okay, so on the previous video we have to buy the stock on single day and sold it on the next day. Okay, and also we can only buy the single stock. Okay, and then after we have to calculate maximum profit. But this problem is little bit changed. Okay, has some change than that problem, so it is a little bit different from the previous one. So again, what is the problem statement? So here we have a prices array like a previous problem, and it is basically nothing but it is a array of stock price. Okay, so here for different days we have a different stock price. Suppose for day 1 we have a stock price as 7, for day 2 it is 1, and for day 3 it is 5. Okay, and we have to find a maximum profit. Okay, also here we have to find a maximum profit, and here there is a condition, guys. What is that? On each day, like for every day, either we have to decide to buy the stock or sell the stock. Okay, so we can buy the stock at day 1, also we can buy at day 2, and also we can buy at day 3, and we can also sell it at any day. Okay, that is so here also there is a condition given that we can hold at most one share of the stock at any time. So that means if we buy some stock at suppose at any day, after selling that stock we can buy the next stock. Okay, so that is the given condition, and we have to find the maximum profit. So how can we solve this problem? So here we have to find overall maximum profit, and we can hold at most one share of the stock. So we just write, I'm just writing our array. Okay, so here this is our stock price of different days. So we don't know, like at the first day the value is lower value or higher value. Okay, where the stock price is high or low than the next value. Okay, so for each day we have two options. For 7 day 7 we have two options as so either the value is lower or higher. Okay, for each day we have two options. For the next day also, so here the value is 1, also we have two options, either the value is lower or higher. So that means for the next value. So if we are here at the first day, so we don't know which value is lower or higher, so we just assume as the lower value. Initially the first value as a lower value. Okay, since we don't know, and after that the next value, it is basically the next value, so it may be lower or higher. We have two options, either the next value is lower or either it is higher. So I'm just writing in this way, it looks good in this way. Okay, so we have two options. Either the next value after 7 is lower or higher, and also we have to find maximum profit. That means if the next value is lower and and that lower value gives us maximum of profit if we will sell it on the next day. Suppose there is value 15, okay, and we buy the stock at the day 1 where the price is 7, and we sell it at day 3 where price is 15. So there we will get a profit of 8. But if you will buy at day 2 and sell it at day 3, you will get profit of 30. Okay, so why every time we will choose the next lower value as lower. So here we will update the lower value as the next value. So if we have the next value, okay, so if we have next value is lesser than the previous value, then we update the lower value. And if we will suppose here we will get the next value as 10 after 7, that means we will calculate the profit. Simply we sell it because we will get some profit. So here we will get a profit of 3. And suppose this value is 15, that means we will get a profit of 5, 8. Okay, so if we will sell it at 15, and if we will not sell it at like day 10, so how can you understand that at day 7 that the next value, okay, and the next value, that means next of next value, that means 15 is higher than 10 or lower than 10, because at the present day you can only know the price of the next day. So why you have choose either that value is lower than 7 or it is higher than 7. Okay, so we have only two options. Since we don't know the prices after one day, okay, because we travel, okay, so suppose the previous day was the past day and we are in the present, so we only know the story of the previous day and the present day, and the 4/7 that present day is their next day. Okay, so we don't know the prices at after the next day, okay, the day after tomorrow. So we only know about that value, so we will choose only two options for that value. It is maybe the lower value or the higher value, and if we will get that value is lower, then simply update the lower variable as, okay, that value. So here lower values becomes 1, and if it is not lesser than 7, then we simply calculate profit. Okay, we will calculate profit, PFT. I'm just writing here PFT. And since we choose 1, so we will choose this path. We will go for the next value. So for 1 also we have two options. Either the value is lesser or higher. So if the next value is lesser, then we will simply update the lower value L. Here the next value is 5. So simply calculate the profit. And what is that profit? It is basically difference of present value minus of the previous lower value. So it was simply 1. So we will get a profit of 4. And right now, here you can see that. So you have choose this value as lower right now. And you already sold. You sold that value at the next day. That means also you get a profit of 4. So here for day 3, what was their previous lower value? Okay, so for simply it is a day 4, the value is 3. So for day 4, what is their previous lower value? So here it should be 1 because we did not update yet the lower variable as another value, but we sold the stock. That means we cannot use the same stock as a lower value because we have already sold it. Okay, so we have to choose another lower value. That means, so if we at day, like if you at position 5, okay, so at a day 2, so how can we know the price of, of the next value? So if you will go there, okay, so I'm just reaching here, and for us we have two options, either lower or higher. So either the next value is lesser than 5 and higher than 5. So we will compare it, like from which value we will compare the next value is lesser or higher. Simply from the previous value. Okay. So we compare it with 5, and here what we will get? We will get 3 is the lesser value. But we have to update the lower value. So simply we have to compare with the lower value, but it is basically gives some confusion. So understand in this way, suppose you buy the stock and you sold it, so you cannot further use that value. Okay, so you cannot further use that lower value. So here it was given that the next previous lower value was 1, so you have to choose the next lower value. So if it is 1, so the next lower value becomes 0, and no other values than 1 become lesser than 1. So how can you choose 3 as a lower value? Okay. So since you already sold that stock, that is at day 2. So for right now you have an option. What you have an option? You have an option like the condition in the previous. Okay. At the beginning. So at the beginning we don't know the value is higher or lesser. We simply choose at lower value. So here also we have two scenario, guys. I'm just writing there. So if we will calculate a profit, okay, if we will calculate a profit, so I'm just writing here. Okay, don't need to write there. If we will calculate a profit, then we have to also update update the lower value, and that lower value is any next value. Why? And why that value is any next value? Because we already used the last lower value since we sold that stock and we calculate the profit. So for us we have an option to choose any next value, and it is, so it doesn't mean that any next value is 3, 6 or 4. You can see easily here, you can buy or sell the stock on same day. Okay, on the same day. That means the any next value is also 5. So if you sold the stock at day 3, you can also buy it right now. So here buy it means we update the lower value. Simply we buy it means here we just update the lower value. So here our lower value becomes, so here since so here also we have an option. Okay, I'm just gonna delete this part. So if we will calculate the profit, that means, so that means we have to update lower value also. So here we calculate a profit of 4, that is 5 minus of 1. So we already use that previous lower value. So we need to buy the stock, and we will buy it on the same day, and that is any next value. So why not buy on the same day? And again you can ask me, why on the same day, why on not on the next day? We can also buy the stock on the next day. So why same day? So just understand this example, 7, 10 or 15. In that problem, if you buy it on the same day and you will sell it for the next higher value, you will get profit of 5, and here you already get a profit of 3. That means you will get total profit of 8. Okay, from 7 to 15. and if you will buy it at day 1 and sell it at day 3, you will also get the profit of 8. That means it does not change, like it does not change the overall profit. So if it does not change overall profit, that means we can easily sell the stock on the same day. Also it will help us to find the lower value. So here we will update the lower value as 5 also. So this is the any next value, and since we choose the lower value as 5, that means we will go from here. And for 5 also we have two options: either the next value is lesser than 5 or higher than 5. So if the next value is lesser than 5, that means we have to update that value. So here the next value is 3, which is lesser than 5. So we will simply update that value. And for the second option, we have to calculate the profit and also any next value, that lower value. Since we have already calculated the lower value, so we will not go for the that value because the first value is lesser. So why we update the lower value as 3. Okay, so it is good to write here uh, simply small l, and l for lesser, and small l is basically 1. I'm just writing here small l colon. Okay, then if here, so we will update the small l, that is update the lower value. And here, since we will get the lower value, so why I'm just writing here in the like l is equal to 1. Okay, so sorry, it is 3, it is 3. So you reached at this. Okay, so you go for first part, that is for the lesser value. Right now you have to go choose that part, so we will go from there. And for 3, the next value may be lesser than 3, and maybe it is higher than 3. So if it is lesser than 3, so simply we update the lower value upl. Okay, and if, okay, and if that value is higher, that means we will calculate a profit. And profit is basically 6 minus of lower value, and it was 3, so the profit is 3. And right now if we will calculate the profit, that means we have to find the next lower value, because we already sold that lower value, so we have to buy the new stock. So why we choose same value as lower value, so why we just write here any next value as 6. So here for 6 also we have two options. Okay, so either the next value is lesser than 6 or maybe it is higher than 6. So here we have 4, which is lesser than 6, so we will just update lower value as of 4. Okay, and for this we have a condition that we update profit and any next value, so we will not go in that scenario. Okay, so what we actually did here, you can see that. So what we actually did here, we first choose that for the first day we simply buy the stock. Okay, and we simply buy the stock means here we just update the lower value, so it is basically we buy the stock, simply buy the stock. Okay, so we don't know the first value is lower than any value or it is higher value, we don't know. So it may be the larger value, it may be the less, like a smaller value, so we just buy the stock. And right now for the next day we have two options: either the next value is lesser or higher. Okay, if we will get the next value as lesser value, we will simply update the lesser value as the next lower value. Okay, so here the l variable, that is basically represent the lower value, updated as 1. That means we buy the stock of price 1. And for 1 also we have two options: either the next value is lesser or higher. So here we will get 5, and 5 is higher, so why we just calculate the profit, and we get 4. And since we already sold that stock, so we need to buy the again the like new stock. Okay, so we need to buy a new stock, so we can buy the stock on the same day or on the next day. so we just buy on the same day. Okay, so here we like just buy the stock of price of 5, and for us it is the lower value, because we still don't know which value is lower or higher. We simply buy the stock, and we just assume that this value is lower. And for that also, the next value is, we will check either it is lesser than 5 or higher than 5. If it is lesser, we simply update that value. That means we just buy the stock. And again for that, if we, for 3 also, we will go for the next value, it is lesser or higher. If it is lesser, we simply update, and if it is higher, we will calculate the profit. And right now we just buy the stock, because we already sold that value, it was 3. So here the next value, that lower value is 6. Simply we just buy the stock buying day. Okay, and just go for the another value. It was basically lesser than 6, so we'll just update the lower value as 4. And right now what we have to do, we have to do, like we have to calculate overall profit. So here profit is, first profit is 4 and other profit is 3, so overall profit is 7, and it is the maximum profit. Why? Because we calculated the profit for each single day. Suppose here it is 15. Okay, so 15. So if we will like sell it, buy it at first day and sell it for day 3, so we will get a profit of 8, and if we will buy it at next day, we will get profit of 14. Okay, so we already calculated the maximum profit. So for that single value, we have two options: either we will choose the previous value and the present value. So we will just go for the next lower value. If suppose here there is a condition that it is given that here it is given the next value is 9, then we simply find the next lower value, and if we will again find the next lower value, we will just buy the stock on that day until we will not sell the stock. So here we already assume that we will calculating for every time the profit, maximum profit. Okay, so by overall profit is maximum, so we will get value 7, and it is the maximum profit. So right now I'm just writing the code, and you can just take a screenshot, or also you can elaborate the problem in your copy notebook, okay, to understand this. So what do you need to do for that? So here what we have to do, we have to just first write a variable that is, okay, I'm just writing here. So for, okay, so for load I'm just using another variable int lower. Okay, and this lower value is basically what? That is basically, we simply buy the stock at first day, we don't know it is lower or higher, so we just make a variable lower, and that means we buy the stock at, okay, so just write prices of 0. That means stock of day 0, sorry, day 1 at 0th index. So we simply buy the stock, and after that what we will do, we will go for the next day. So we have to start a for loop, and we will start from like index 1 at from second day, and it is less than prices dot length. Okay, we will find the length of array and I plus plus. Simply right now what we do, we have to check the next value is lower or higher. If next value, that means prices of I, we simply calculate lower, we simply calculate, sorry, we simply update if the next value is like lower than lower. Okay, so initially we buy the stock at day 1 and it was 7, so we will go for the next value, so it is lower than the previous value, so simply update the value. I'm just writing a UPL. Okay, so we simply update that value. Why I'm writing UPL here, I will tell you. Okay, so here I'm simply update the lower value, that means lower is equal to prices of I. And suppose in the else part, if the value is higher, that is, this is basically for the else part, so we will simply calculate the profit. So here what is the profit? Profit is basically, I'm just writing here simply a profit. Okay, we calculate the profit. Also, if we will calculate the profit, that means we already sold the stock, that means we have to buy the new stock, so we just buy the same stock. and it is any next value, and any next value means that on the same day we just buy the stock on the same day. Okay, so I'm just writing here stock on the same day, stock on same day. Okay, same day, as I'm just writing a stock on the same day. Okay, now, and this stock on same day is simply a and b. A and b nothing but it is a lower value, simply we update a lower value. So here you just write lower is equal to prices of I. Also for a and b also it is, although it is a and b, but it is also we update the lower value with prices of I. Okay, so here you can see that every time why you will like, for the both condition you have to just write this condition lower is equal to prices of I, and also for the else part if the lower value is higher than prices then you have to calculate the profit. So why not just write the condition in that way? If that is greater than lower value, then you don't need to write the else condition, or also lower is equal to prices of I two times. So here this is basically the condition for profit. We simply calculate the profit and also the next value, but both the scenario the next value is either the UPL or A and B. UPL means we just update the lower value, and A and B the any next value is the lower value. So it is simply the prices of I, that means the price of present day. So here no need to write twice lower is equal to price of I. And right now how can we calculate a profit? So it is basically what, it is simply prices of I minus of lower value, that means 5 minus of 1 is gives you 4. So also what you need to do, also you need to just add all those profits every time. So why not just use another variable as sum, profit sum. Okay, profit sum, and just write here in this way profit sum is equal to plus is equal to prices of I minus of lower, and just write the variable profit sum in profit, since you have to just calculate. Okay, so it is 0. Why 0? Because suppose if the array is empty or like any single one element, so that means we have just profit sum is 0, we don't have profit. And suppose every value is lesser, that means also their profit is profit sum is 0. So here that means decreasing order, if the array is in decreasing order there also profit sum is 0. So here what we actually did, we calculate the profit sum. Okay, and we just add all those value, and right now I'm just gonna delete this part. Hope you understand this. And here what we will return, we will simply return the profit sum. Okay, so what you did, if you find the any value that is higher than lower, you simply calculate the profit, and we will add all the profits. Okay, that's why we will get the maximum profit, overall profit. And after that, for all those two cases we have to update the lower value from the present value, guys. Okay, and I'm just gonna run this code. Okay, so we have to just write, it is not finding the symbol, so return of profit sum. Yes, so it is profit sum. 1 minute, guys. Okay, okay, sorry, it is actually sum. Okay, so profit sum, just again run this code. Yeah, also it is better to write a capital letter, okay, here, and update all this value, don't worry about the value, and just submit this. So it is just faster than 97% of people. Also one thing you can notice that, what is that lower value, is that necessary to write a lower variable? Okay, so for every time you have to update the lower value. Suppose it is 7, you have to update it. It is 1, you have to update it. So for 5, the load value is basically the previous value, guys. Okay, so it is basically prices of I minus of 1. So if you will, you can write in this way, price is of I minus of 1. Okay, so you can notice that every time you update the load value with prices of I, that means for the current value the load value was the previous price. So you don't need to write another variable. Okay, I'm just writing here prices of I minus of 1, and here also it is what, it is like not needed. So no need to run, like no need to write a variable like lower, and just again submit it. Maybe it is slower, like because of we have to just go for the array and just find it. Okay, now it's good, it is not slower than that. So uh, you can understand how can we just optimize the problem and solve the this problem. So this is the second variant of this problem, guys. And what is the time complexity? It is simply order of n. Okay, so every time we just to compare it, and we just need to just calculate it. Okay, also you can see the related topics. So it is topics of like we have to know dynamic programming and greedy, and we use a greedy algorithm here simply. Okay, so here it is a second variant of this problem. Also there are other problems, when we will get that we will solve this. So first thing is that if you understand this problem, okay, so please do subscribe the channel because it takes a lot of effort. Also share this video with your friends, and if you want really wants to prepare for FANG companies and wants to solve difficult problems, want to clear your online assessments, so stay continue with us. Okay, so we will like make a different problems. We will solve different problems, different kinds of problems. Also we will start a different series on each data structures topics. Okay, so again thank you, and please do subscribe the channel.